2025 is the year I achieved my childhood dream. As a Capricorn, with my birthday being only a week after the new year, anytime I reflect on a year past, I have the rare ability to say I was the same age during that entire year. So 2025 was my year of 27. With so many looming anecdotes surrounding being 27, like white lighters and the 27 Club, your Saturn return, the death of your mid-20s, entering your late 20s and soon to be your early 30s, there's a lot of pressure on your 27th year. And I was terrified. It was the very first year, and I don't even know how long, that I did not throw a huge birthday bash for myself. In hindsight, I do regret it a bit, but it was also the first year that I could confidently say I knew who I was. I knew what music brought me joy. I knew what books I loved to read. I knew what clothes made me feel like the best version of myself. And I felt like for once I could clearly see where my career was heading. Since I was a kid, I have always wanted to work in social media. It was my dream to be a YouTuber in one way or another, whether or not I was the one sitting in front of the camera or I was behind the scenes doing the editing, doing the writing. I just wanted to be there. I knew that was what I wanted to do. My 5-year plan after graduation included moving to California to work for BuzzFeed as a video editor. Okay, I wanted to be in the room where it happened. I have always known that this is where my passions were. So as a college freshman, depressed and alone in my dorm room, I decided to record and post my very first YouTube video. This would have been 2016. Despite having a camera already for a couple years, I just did not have the confidence or the support really to put myself out there on YouTube while I was still in high school. And so at the lowest moment in my life, I decided I wanted to take things back into my own hands. I wanted to begin reaching for my dreams again. And so that's when I posted my first video. College just did not work out the way that I wanted to. With college, I experienced depression and anxiety and hit my lowest lows for the first time ever. My mental health simply could not handle it. But you can't say I didn't try. I dropped out 3 different times, hoping that each time I went back would be different than the last, but that just wasn't the case. And like most people in their early 20s, I was severely broke, so I'd rather spend my time working, waiting tables to make sure that my rent was paid than go to class anyway. But the more I worked, the less I posted, the less I went to class, and the further that my dreams got away from me. That is until COVID. You can imagine being a server, busting my ass waiting tables. COVID hit me extremely hard financially. Hours were cut so drastically that I couldn't even afford half of my rent, and I had to evict the premises to sublet a room from these 2 girls for a few $100s just to make sure that I had a place to live. But also, you could imagine with the restaurant basically being closed, I had a lot of free time on my hand. And with that, I downloaded TikTok. Now, most of us couldn't imagine just how impactful TikTok would be today, so I was mostly shit posting for a couple years, but I was putting myself out there again, and I hadn't done that in so long at that point. But then one day, my childhood friend, Emily, came to me with this book that she was recommended from Book Talk, which I had never even heard of at the time, and encouraged me to get back to reading. This is the friend who both of us used to write stories when we were children, and we would trade them back and forth and read them and just be so excited to be reading these worlds that the other person was creating. And so she reminded me just how much I used to love reading. So in 2023, to my 5,000 followers at the time, I posted my very first Book Talk video. And you could really say the rest is history. I started waiting tables at 16, and the older I got, the more I felt like there was no way to escape the service industry. But being consistent with posting while I was still in the service industry is what got me hired at my first social media management job, my second, and even my third. And then this past summer, when my partner of 5 years came to me and said, we might have to move for his new job, I didn't even bat an eye, because this was it. This was my chance to get out of the service industry and make social media my full-time job. It was really scary at first because there's genuinely nothing you can count on for sure when it comes to social media. So this is when I decided I should probably start branching out from just TikTok. I started posting consistently on Instagram in September, and we just passed 18,000 followers the other day, which is so exciting. I've been sharing my videos on Facebook, and most importantly, I started posting again on YouTube, which is the place that started my passion for all of this. It's what made me love filming and video editing, and just the idea of making something of yourself out of absolutely nothing with no one's help, just you and yourself, making your dreams come true. And in December 2025, 9 years after posting my very first video to YouTube, I officially am monetized on here. Now, I haven't made anything just yet because it literally just happened, but if I were to go back in time to my 18-year-old self at her lowest point in her dorm room with her janky little camera, filming for YouTube, she would scream, she would cry, she would be overjoyed, she would be thrilled because her biggest dream at that time would be true. Just the concept of being able to make money from social media still baffles me, and I just can't believe it's where I am today. Over 10 years in the service industry, most of those absolutely skating the poverty line. Some years better, some years worse, but we finally made it out and we finally made something of ourselves. So on my 28th birthday, which yes, is today, I just wanted to take a moment to say how thankful I am to be where I am. To the real ones from high school who used to watch and comment on every single one of my old videos and still comment on stuff today. To Emily for inspiring me to read again. I genuinely owe my entire career to you at this point. To my partner for never complaining when I kick him out of the room so I can film every single day. And of course, to all of you, because I simply couldn't do it without you. 2025 was truly the year that my childhood dreams came true. Well, almost all of them. Now I just need to write a book.